My friends, let me tell you something straight from the heart. Learning English on your own may feel like standing at the bottom of a tall mountain, staring up, wondering how you will ever reach the top. You might feel alone in this journey, and sometimes the doubts whisper inside you, can I really do it? Will I ever be fluent? But deep inside, you know the answer. You can. You absolutely can. And the proof lies not in your surroundings, not in expensive schools or teachers, but in your determination to never give up. There was once a young man who didn't have the privilege of studying abroad, who didn't have the chance to practice with native speakers, who didn't even have money to spend on courses. All he had was curiosity, hunger to learn, and courage to practice every single day. He listened, he observed, he spoke, even when he made mistakes. And do you know what happened? His broken words slowly turned into sentences. His sentences turned into confidence, and his confidence opened doors he never imagined. That is the magic of persistence. You see, learning English is not just about grammar rules or memorizing words. It is about opening your world. When you learn English, you connect to millions of people across the globe. You gain access to knowledge, opportunities, and friendships that can completely transform your future. And guess what? You don't need anyone to hand it to you. You already have the tools. With a smartphone, with the internet, with books, with movies, you can create your own classroom. Every moment can be your teacher, if only you have the will to learn. Of course, it will not be easy. You will face days where you can't remember a word, days when you feel embarrassed because someone laughed at your mistakes. But let me remind you, mistakes are proof that you are trying. Do not be ashamed of them. Be proud because every mistake is a step forward. Every wrong sentence is one step closer to fluency. Imagine if a child gave up after falling the first time. Would any of us be able to walk today? You must treat English the same way. Fall, rise, repeat until walking becomes running. And never underestimate the power of practice. Speak to yourself in English. Think in English. Sing songs in English. Watch movies with subtitles and repeat the dialogues. Write your thoughts in a notebook every day. It doesn't matter if your sentences are short or simple. What matters is that you keep moving forward. Bit by bit, word by word, you will surprise yourself with how much progress you can make. Remember, no one can stop a person who refuses to stop learning. Your background doesn't matter. Your financial status doesn't matter. Even your starting point doesn't matter. What matters is your hunger to grow, your courage to speak, and your refusal to quit. English is not just a language. It is a bridge. And when you cross it, you will see a world of opportunities waiting on the other side. So I want you to believe in yourself today. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be consistent. Speak with confidence, learn with passion, and never stop reminding yourself why you started. Someday, when you look back, you will realize that this one decision to learn English by yourself was not just about language. It was about proving to yourself that nothing in this world is impossible if you have the heart to chase it. When it comes to learning English by yourself, the very first step is not picking up a book, not opening a dictionary, and not even watching a video. The very first step is believing in yourself. Without this belief, every effort feels heavy, every mistake feels like failure, and every challenge feels like proof that you are not good enough. But the truth is, belief is what separates those who succeed from those who quit halfway. You may not realize it now, but the most powerful tool you have is not your brain, not your memory, not even your resources. It is your mindset. The moment you tell yourself, I can do this, the world starts to change around you. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself before even trying? How many times have you thought, my English is not good enough, people will laugh at me, I will sound foolish? These thoughts don't come from reality, they come from fear. And fear is nothing more than a wall inside your mind. If you believe the wall is real, you'll never move forward. But if you challenge it, if you take one step with courage, you will discover the wall was never solid. It was only an illusion. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you won't feel nervous. It doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. And it doesn't mean you will suddenly become fluent overnight. Belief means that even when things are hard, you tell yourself, I can learn, I can improve, I will not stop. This belief is like a fire inside you. It keeps burning even when the world around you is cold. It pushes you to practice when others are sleeping. It gives you the courage to speak even when your accent is not perfect. It reminds you that every expert was once a beginner and every fluent speaker once struggled with their first words. Let me remind you, There are millions of people around the world who learned English by themselves. They didn't have the best schools, they didn't grow up in English-speaking countries, and they didn't always have teachers to guide them, but what they did have was belief. They believed that if others could learn, then they could too. That's the key. You must tell yourself, if it is possible for others, it is possible for me. When you carry this belief, your energy changes, your effort becomes stronger, and your journey becomes unstoppable. Believing in yourself also means refusing to compare yourself negatively with others. Sometimes we see someone speaking fluently and immediately think, I can never be like them. But you are comparing their chapter 20 with your chapter 1. Everyone has a journey, and yours is unique. Instead of saying, I can't, start saying, I'm on my way. Do not measure your worth by someone else's progress. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday. If today you learn one new word, one new phrase, or speak one new sentence, you are already ahead of who you were yesterday. That is success. Another part of self-belief is trusting the process. English is a language, not a magic trick. It takes time, it takes repetition, and it takes patience. But if you believe in yourself, you will not be frustrated when progress feels slow. You will understand that every small effort is building your fluency, just like every drop of water creates an ocean. Many people quit because they expect instant results. They believe that if they are not fluent in 1 month, it means they are not capable. That is not true. You are capable, but you must believe in long-term effort. Remember, fluency is not built in a single day. It is built daily. Belief also transforms your attitude toward mistakes. Without belief, a mistake feels like proof that you are not good enough. But with belief, a mistake becomes proof that you are learning. You start to smile at your errors, laugh at your mispronunciations, and move forward without shame. Belief gives you the strength to say, I am not perfect, but I am improving. And that attitude is what will make you unstoppable. Ask yourself today, what story are you telling yourself about your ability to learn English? If the story is negative, you will always find excuses. But if the story is positive, you will always find a way. Belief shapes your story, and your story shapes your future. If you wake up each day saying, I am capable, I am learning, and I am growing, then no obstacle can hold you back. So before you memorize another word, before you practice another sentence, pause and tell yourself with full confidence, I can do this. Say it until you feel it, say it until you believe it, and say it until it becomes part of who you are. Because the truth is, you can. You have everything inside you to learn, to grow, and to master this language. The first step is not outside, it is inside you. Believe in yourself, and the rest will follow. Once you have belief in yourself, the next step is to realize that your classroom is not limited to 4 walls. You don't need to wait for the perfect teacher, the perfect school, or the perfect course. The world around you is full of opportunities to learn English, if you choose to see them. Every book, every song, every movie, every conversation, and even every mistake can become your teacher. The secret is to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, where can I study English? Start asking, how can I turn this moment into a lesson? Let's imagine a simple example. You are listening to a song in English. Most people just enjoy the music and move on. But if you turn that song into your teacher, you will start noticing the words, the pronunciation, the emotions. You can pause, replay, and repeat until you understand. You can even sing along to improve your fluency and accent. Suddenly, that simple song becomes a powerful language lesson. The same goes for movies and TV shows. You can watch them with subtitles, pause when you don't understand something, write it down, and practice speaking it out loud. What seems like entertainment to others becomes education for you. Think about how powerful this mindset is. The internet is full of resources, free videos, podcasts, articles, and apps. But many people waste these opportunities because they don't treat them seriously. If you see them as teachers, you will realize you have thousands of teachers available anytime, anywhere. You don't have to wait for someone to correct you in a classroom. You can correct yourself by listening carefully, repeating, and improving day by day. This is how independent learners grow. Even daily life is a teacher. For example, when you walk through the market and see products with English labels, don't just ignore them. Read them. Say them out loud. When you see an English advertisement on the street or online, instead of scrolling past it, analyze the words. Try to understand their meaning. If you're using a smartphone, change the language settings to English. This simple change will force you to interact with English every day. You will see words like settings, notifications, updates, and slowly they will become part of your natural vocabulary. Another powerful resource is people. Even if you live in a place where nobody speaks English fluently, you can still practice. Talk to friends in short sentences. Practice greetings. Practice introducing yourself. Practice small conversations. If no one around you is interested, then talk to yourself. Yes, it may feel strange in the beginning, but self-talk is one of the most effective ways to train your brain. You can look in the mirror and describe your day in English, or even pretend you are giving a speech. The more you practice, the more confident you become. And when you finally speak to others, you will already be prepared. Remember, resources don't always have to be formal. A newspaper headline, a social media post, or even a funny meme in English can teach you something. The trick is to stay curious. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this sentence? What new word is hidden here? How can I use it in my own conversation? That curiosity will turn every small detail into a learning opportunity. One mistake many learners make is waiting for the perfect environment. They say, if I go abroad, I will learn faster. If I had a foreign teacher, I would be fluent. But the truth is, many people have these opportunities and still fail because they don't use them. On the other hand, people who don't have access to these things often succeed because they take responsibility for their own learning. It's not about where you are, it's about how you see the world around you. If you treat everything as a teacher, you'll never stop learning. Let me share something important here. Repetition is your best friend. When you watch a movie, don't just watch it once. Watch it again. Repeat the dialogues. When you hear a new word, don't just memorize it once. Use it in your writing. Say it in your sentences. Practice it until it feels natural. Every time you repeat, you are strengthening your memory. Every time you practice, you are building fluency. This is how resources become teachers, through consistent and repeated use. Another tip is to make English fun. If you force yourself to learn only from heavy textbooks, you will get bored quickly. But if you use resources you enjoy, you will stick with it. If you like sports, read English articles about your favorite team. If you like cooking, watch English recipe videos. If you like technology, follow English blogs about new gadgets. This way, learning doesn't feel like work. It feels like passion. And passion always makes learning faster and deeper. So, understand this clearly. You don't need to wait for someone to teach you. The teachers are already here, in your phone, in your books, in your conversations, in your daily surroundings. You simply need to open your eyes, stay curious, and grab every chance to learn. The world is speaking to you in English every single day. The question is, are you listening? One of the greatest obstacles in learning English or in learning anything new is the fear of making mistakes. Many people hold themselves back because they are terrified of being wrong. They worry about mispronouncing a word, using the wrong grammar, or sounding funny when they speak. That fear becomes so heavy that they stop speaking at all. But let me tell you something very important. Mistakes are not your enemy. Mistakes are your teacher. Every mistake you make is not proof of failure. It is proof that you are learning, proof that you are growing, proof that you are trying. Think back to when you were a child learning to walk. Did you get up one day and start running perfectly? No. You fell hundreds of times. You stumbled, you hit the ground, you cried, but then you stood up again. Every fall was not failure, it was practice. It was your body learning balance, learning strength, learning movement, and eventually, without even realizing it, you were walking and then running. That is exactly how learning English works. If you are afraid to fall, if you are afraid to stumble, you will never take the first steps. But if you accept mistakes as part of the process, one day you will look back and realize that fluency has become natural. The problem is, society often teaches us to be ashamed of mistakes. Maybe someone laughed when you mispronounced a word, maybe a teacher corrected you harshly, or maybe you compared yourself to someone more fluent and felt small. But the truth is, those moments are not signs to stop, they are signs to continue. In fact, the people who laugh at your mistakes are proof that you are doing something they are too afraid to do. You are trying. And trying is always more powerful than doing nothing. Let me share a secret. Even native English speakers make mistakes. They mispronounce words. They forget grammar rules. They mix up spellings. Language is not about being perfect. It's about communicating. So if you make mistakes but still manage to express your thoughts, you are already successful. Fluency is not perfection. Fluency is confidence. And confidence only grows when you allow yourself to practice without fear. Every mistake is also feedback. When you say something wrong, your brain takes note. The next time you try again, and slowly you improve. Think about how scientists experiment. Do they succeed on the first try? No. They try, they fail, they adjust, and then they succeed. Your journey with English is no different. Every mistake is an experiment. Every correction is progress. Without mistakes, there is no learning. You must also change the way you talk to yourself when you make errors. Instead of saying, "I'm so bad at English," say, "This mistake means I'm learning." Instead of saying, "People will laugh at me," say, "At least I'm brave enough to try." This small change in your mindset will give you the strength to continue when others give up. The truth is, the more mistakes you make, the faster you will improve, because every mistake carries a lesson that brings you closer to fluency. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine you are speaking and you say, "He go to school every day." Grammatically, this is incorrect. It should be, "He goes to school every day." Now, if you never spoke because you were afraid of being wrong, you would not even discover this mistake. But because you spoke, because you tried, someone corrected you, or you noticed it yourself. That correction sticks in your memory, and the next time you say it correctly. This is how mistakes accelerate learning. Also, remember this. Mistakes make you human and relatable. When you speak English imperfectly, people see your effort. They admire your courage, even if they don't say it out loud. And often, they respect you more for trying than for staying silent. Silence will never improve your English, but mistakes will. Silence hides your ability. Mistakes reveal your progress. Another important point is to make mistakes actively. Don't just wait for errors to happen. Challenge yourself. Try to use new words. Try to form complex sentences. Try to join conversations that feel too difficult. Yes, you will make mistakes, but those mistakes are signs that you are pushing beyond your comfort zone. And growth only happens outside your comfort zone. If you only stick to what feels safe, you will stay in the same place forever. So, whenever you feel embarrassed by a mistake, remember this: the only people who never make mistakes are the ones who never try, and the ones who never try never learn. Which one do you want to be? The one who tried, fell, and eventually succeeded, or the one who stayed silent, safe, and stuck forever? The choice is yours, and your mistakes are not holding you back. They are carrying you forward. If there is one golden rule that separates dreamers from achievers in learning English, it is this: practice daily. No excuses. You see, belief in yourself is the foundation. Using resources as teachers gives you tools, and embracing mistakes fuels your courage. But without daily practice, all of this loses power. Language is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. If you train it every single day, it grows stronger and sharper. The mistake most learners make is waiting for the right time or the right place. They think they will practice tomorrow, next week, or when they feel more confident. But tomorrow never comes. Fluency is not built on someday, it is built on today. Think about how children learn their mother tongue. Do they sit down with grammar books? Do they attend formal classes in the beginning? No. They hear the language daily, they repeat daily, they make mistakes daily, and through constant use, they become fluent. That is the secret. Daily exposure, daily practice, daily repetition. You must treat English the same way. Even if you study for only 15 minutes a day, it is far more powerful than studying for 5 hours once a month. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Daily practice does not mean you need a classroom or a tutor. It means turning your ordinary routine into learning opportunities. When you wake up in the morning, describe your day in English. I am brushing my teeth. I am making breakfast. I am going to work. It may sound simple, but you are training your brain to think in English. When you watch the news, watch a few minutes in English. When you scroll through social media, read captions in English. When you listen to music, sing along. Every small action adds up. Every little effort is like a drop of water, and drop by drop, you are filling your ocean of fluency. The biggest enemy of daily practice is excuses. I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll practice tomorrow. But let's be honest, How much time do we spend on our phones, on television, on activities that don't build our future? If you can spend 20 minutes scrolling, you can spend 20 minutes practicing English. It's not about time, it's about priority. If English is important to you, you will make time for it, even on your busiest days. Even if it's just writing 3 sentences before bed or listening to one short podcast, that effort matters. Excuses may give you temporary comfort, but discipline gives you permanent results. And remember, practice does not have to be perfect. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. Speak with broken grammar, write with simple words, read with pauses. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you show up every day. Just like going to the gym, the first day feels heavy, the second day feels uncomfortable. But if you keep going, one day you realize your body has become strong. English works the same way. Your brain becomes stronger every time you practice, no matter how imperfect it feels in the beginning. One powerful way to practice daily is through speaking. Many learners focus too much on reading and writing, but speaking is where true fluency grows. If you don't have a partner, become your own partner. Talk to yourself while walking, record your voice, or practice in front of the mirror. Describe what you see around you, explain your thoughts out loud, or retell a story you read in English. The more you practice speaking, the more natural it becomes. Don't wait for someone else to start a conversation. Create one for yourself. Writing is another great daily habit. Keep a small notebook or use your phone to write a short paragraph every day. Write about your goals, your feelings, or what happened during your day. It doesn't matter if your sentences are short or simple. The act of writing trains your mind to organize thoughts in English. Over time, your sentences will naturally grow longer, your vocabulary will expand, and your confidence in expressing ideas will increase. Listening must also be part of your daily routine. Even if you don't understand everything at first, keep listening. Put on podcasts while commuting, watch English YouTubers, listen to English news channels. Your ears will slowly adjust to the rhythm, accent, and speed of the language. One day, without even realizing it, you will start understanding sentences that once felt impossible. And of course, reading daily is a habit that builds vocabulary and understanding. You don't have to start with difficult novels. Start with simple articles, short stories, or even English subtitles while watching movies. As you read, underline or note down new words. Use them in your writing or speaking practice the next day. This is how you make words stick in your memory, by turning them into action. Daily practice also keeps your motivation alive. When you practice every day, you see small improvements. Maybe today you understand a word you didn't know yesterday, or maybe you pronounce a sentence more clearly than before. These little victories remind you that you are moving forward, and when you see progress, you feel encouraged to continue. That's why consistency is more important than perfection. So, remove the mindset of someday. Make English part of your life today. Even if your day is full of responsibilities, even if you are tired, even if it feels hard, practice anyway. One word today is better than 100 words someday. One sentence today is better than one perfect paragraph that never comes. Because the truth is, fluency is not about doing big things occasionally. It is about doing small things consistently. And when you practice daily without excuses, English stops being a subject you are learning. It becomes a part of who you are. When it comes to learning English, so many learners fall into the trap of chasing perfection. They want every sentence to be flawless, every word to be pronounced exactly right, and every grammar rule to be remembered before they even dare to speak. But the truth is, perfection is not the goal. Progress is, and progress comes from consistency. The people who succeed are not the ones who wait to speak perfectly. They are the ones who speak consistently, learn consistently, and practice consistently, even when their words are broken and their grammar is shaky. Think about how perfection actually slows people down. Imagine someone who refuses to speak until they know enough. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and they are still waiting. They read grammar books, they memorize vocabulary lists, but when it's time to open their mouth, fear freezes them because they are chasing an impossible standard. On the other hand, someone who practices a little every day, making mistakes, sounding awkward, but still trying, will eventually reach fluency. Why? Because language grows through use, not through hesitation. Consistency is like watering a plant. If you water it daily, even with small amounts, it will grow strong. But if you pour a bucket of water once in a while and then forget it for weeks, the plant will wither. English is the same. Daily and consistent effort keeps your language plant alive and growing, while long gaps weaken it. You don't need to be perfect each day, you only need to show up. One page read, one word learned, one sentence spoken, that's enough to keep your growth alive. The beauty of consistency is that it creates habits. When something becomes a habit, it no longer feels like a burden. If you train yourself to spend 10 minutes with English every day, soon it will feel as natural as brushing your teeth. You won't even think about whether you have time for it. You will just do it. And those 10 minutes every day will add up to hours, then days, then months of practice. By the end of a year, those small daily efforts will give you more progress than someone who studied intensely for a week and then gave up. Another reason consistency beats perfection is because perfection is an illusion. No one, not even native speakers, is perfect in their language. They make grammar mistakes, they forget words, they pronounce things differently based on region or culture. If perfection doesn't even exist for them, why should you demand it from yourself? The goal is communication, not perfection. And the best way to communicate better is to keep practicing regularly, not to wait until you feel flawless. Think about exercise. If you go to the gym once a month and push yourself until you are exhausted, you won't see results. But if you go 3 times a week and do small, consistent workouts, your body will transform. The same applies to English. Consistency builds your language muscles. Even if you practice just a little, your progress compounds over time. Small steps taken daily are far more powerful than giant leaps taken rarely. Consistency also helps you overcome fear. The more often you use English, the less scary it feels. At first, you may feel nervous, speaking even one sentence, but if you keep speaking every day, it becomes easier. Your brain starts to adapt. Your mouth gets used to forming the sounds, and your confidence grows. Eventually, what once felt terrifying becomes natural. That transformation doesn't happen in one big leap. It happens through consistent repetition. One important thing to remember is that consistency requires patience. You will not see results overnight. Sometimes you may feel like nothing is changing, like you're stuck in the same place, but trust the process. Just like a seed takes time to break through the soil, your progress in English takes time to become visible. Consistency ensures that, even if you don't see immediate results, you are still moving forward beneath the surface. Then, one day, suddenly, you will realize you can understand a conversation, read a paragraph, or express yourself more clearly than before. That sudden progress is not sudden at all. It is the result of your consistent efforts. It is also important to forgive yourself when you miss a day. Consistency doesn't mean perfection in your schedule. If you skip a practice session, don't give up. Too many people abandon their learning because they feel guilty about missing one day or one week. But remember, progress is not about never failing. It's about always returning. Consistency means you keep coming back again and again, no matter how many times you fall. The key is to build the habit of returning, not the illusion of never missing. So instead of waiting for the perfect time, the perfect environment, or the perfect sentence, focus on being consistent. Read daily, listen daily, speak daily, write daily, even if only in small amounts. Trust that these small, imperfect actions are more powerful than waiting for perfection. Because fluency is not about being flawless, it's about being fearless. And fearlessness is born from repetition, from practice, from consistency. When you commit to consistency, you stop asking, "When will I be fluent?" Instead, you realize that every single day of practice is fluency in the making. Every word you speak, every mistake you make, every lesson you learn, it all adds up. And one day, without even realizing it, you will find yourself speaking with confidence, understanding with clarity, and communicating with ease. And you'll know it wasn't perfection that brought you here, it was consistency. When you think about learning English, it is not just about mastering grammar or collecting vocabulary, it is about unlocking doors. English is not only a language, it is a bridge that connects you to opportunities you may never have imagined. Every sentence you practice, every word you learn, every time you push yourself to speak, You are not just learning a language, you are building a path toward a wider world. Imagine standing on one side of a river. On your side, life feels limited. You only have access to what is within your reach, your local environment, your local resources, your local opportunities. But across that river is a land full of knowledge, jobs, connections, and experiences waiting for you. The bridge that will take you there is English. Without it, you might feel stuck, watching from a distance. But with it, you can cross to the other side and step into a world that once felt far away. Think about education. Some of the greatest universities in the world share their research, lectures, and online courses in English. If you know English, you don't have to depend on translations or wait for someone else to explain. You can access knowledge directly. You can read books written by experts, understand tutorials online, and join global discussions. English gives you access to the minds and ideas of people everywhere, and that knowledge can completely transform your life. Opportunities also come in the form of work. In today's world, many companies, no matter where they are located, use English to communicate. If you can speak English confidently, your chances of getting a better job multiply. You can work with international teams, apply for positions abroad, or even start your own business online and connect with clients across the globe. One skill, English, can turn local dreams into global realities. Many people miss out on promotions or higher salaries simply because they cannot communicate in English. But the ones who take this step forward suddenly find themselves standing where opportunities are abundant. And it's not just about jobs or studies. English opens the door to friendships, connections, and relationships with people from different cultures. Imagine being able to connect with someone from another country, share ideas, learn from their experiences, and exchange stories. Suddenly, the world doesn't feel so divided. You realize that despite differences, we all share similar dreams, emotions, and struggles. English gives you the ability to communicate across borders, and that is one of the most powerful gifts a language can give. Travel is another place where English acts as a bridge. When you step into an airport, when you visit a new country, when you interact with strangers, English often becomes the common ground. You don't have to feel lost or helpless in a foreign land. Your ability to use English gives you confidence. Whether it's asking for directions, ordering food, or making new friends, English helps you connect wherever you go. And travel itself becomes richer because instead of just seeing places, you can communicate with people and understand their culture more deeply. But beyond the external opportunities, there is also an internal transformation. Learning English builds confidence. Every time you successfully express yourself, you prove to yourself that you are capable of growth, capable of breaking limits. And that confidence doesn't just stay in language, it spills into every part of your life. You begin to think, if I can teach myself English, what else can I do? That mindset shift is powerful. It makes you more courageous, more ambitious, and more ready to take on challenges. Some people think English is only for those who want to move abroad or work internationally. But the truth is, even within your own country, English opens doors. You may find better career opportunities. You may inspire others. You may even become a role model in your community. People start to look at you differently when they see you can express yourself in the world's most widely spoken international language. That respect, that recognition, can give you the motivation to dream bigger and reach higher. And let's not forget the role of English in personal growth. The internet is full of motivational talks, self-help books, spiritual guidance, and life lessons, but most of them are in English. When you know the language, you don't have to wait for translations. You can listen, learn, and grow in real time. Knowledge that could take years to reach you in another language is already available in English. That speed of access gives you an advantage, a head start, a chance to move faster toward your goals. So yes, English is grammar, English is vocabulary, English is pronunciation, but above all, English is opportunity. It is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Every time you sit down to practice, every time you push past fear, every time you stay consistent, remind yourself, you are not just learning a language, you are building a future. You are crossing a bridge that will lead you to education, career, friendships, travel, and personal transformation. And the most inspiring part? This bridge is not reserved for the rich, the privileged, or the lucky. It is open for anyone who is willing to walk across it step by step. Whether you come from a small town or a big city, whether you have resources or not, whether you are young or old, if you are willing to learn, English can take you further than you ever imagined. My friends, remember this: learning English is not just about words, it is about changing your life. It is about believing in yourself when no one else does, turning the world around you into your classroom, embracing mistakes instead of fearing them, practicing daily without excuses, choosing consistency over perfection, and walking across the bridge of opportunities that this language builds for you. You may feel nervous, you may feel small, you may feel like the road is long, but every step you take is progress. Every word you learn is victory. Every sentence you speak is courage. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for someone else to carry you forward. The power is already in your hands. One day, you will look back and realize that this journey was never just about English. It was about discovering your strength, your discipline, your resilience. It was about proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. And when that day comes, when you can speak, connect, and express yourself freely, you will know it was worth every effort, every mistake, every single step. So stand tall, start today, and keep moving forward, because nothing, not fear, not doubt, not mistakes, can stop a heart that refuses to quit. The world is waiting to hear your voice in English, and when you speak, speak with pride, because you earned it.